Hey, Holy Cross. This week is week 6 of our Philippians study, and we should all be reading chapter 3 together all the way through to verse 1 of chapter 4. And there's so much to unpack here, and it could probably be turned into a sermon series of its own. But we want to take a look at a few things. Paul unpacks a core part of his exhortation to the Philippian church, and he gives a few imperatives. He says to rejoice in the Lord, to join in imitating him, and to stand firm in the Lord. And as you unpack this chapter, you'll likely see Paul's heart for these things. You really get a good sense in this chapter that as he calls on the Philippians to rejoice in the Lord, that what Paul really finds joy in are not the typical joys that we think of in this world. He doesn't point to an enjoyment of leisure or entertainment or food or anything else that might bring joy to us in our day-to-day lives. No, he sees those as distractions. And instead, what you see with Paul is that he finds his joy in knowing Jesus. Knowing Jesus and being known by Jesus, this is the source of his joy. But not only is it a source of his joy, but it's also the source of what he himself is imitating and calling on others to do the same. It's the hope that he stands on as he calls on the church to likewise stand firm in the Lord. Paul points to the real hope and joy in life as knowing Jesus and being united with him in his death and resurrection. This is the core of his life, his ministry, his friendships, his entire being. Knowing Jesus ought to be a dramatic transformation of our lives. But oftentimes, we instead fit Jesus into the free space that we might have, into the margins. He becomes one of the many things that we know or that we're involved with. But the call for the Christian is to realize this dramatic transformation that has already taken place by the power and work of God, and to live in such a way that we come to realize our true identity and our created mandate. Now, our Bible study tip for the week is something that I encourage all of us to do every single week, but it should be the practice of our everyday lives, and that is to sing. We sing because God has made us to be able to do so, and because it allows us to express ourselves to God where our words might fall short. We sing to God to express ourselves to God to the fullest degree that we can, that He is deserving of all glory. And as we're confronted with the gracious and wonderful work of Christ in His death and resurrection, one of our responses ought to be to sing out in praise of His name. The Psalms are filled with examples of God's people singing in response to God's glory. And likewise, I hope that one of our responses will be to sing. Whether that's a psalm or an old hymn or a new song, I encourage you to sing to the Lord in your quiet times, for He is good. His steadfast love endures forever. Thanks for watching, church. I hope that you're continued to be encouraged by the Philippian study, and we hope to see you soon.